I say Harare should be called Kampala and Kampala should be called Harare because Kampala does not sleep.
Yeah.
So I find it very fast paced. And I always make comparisons about how, so when you go to Zimbabwe, it's so sterile. Everyone follows the road rules. If you go out of line, we take a picture and you're like, bad. And
Hi guys, welcome to Kenganda. My name is Jonita Maya and this is the Repart podcast. Now we are joined by the One Tribe. Can I call you that? She couldn't believe that you're the mother to her.
oh, really?
Like, is that mother and daughter? but tell the people who you are.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Iwani Mawocha. I am one of the co-founders of One Tribe Coffee, and I am a roast master in training.
Lovely.
And I am Gail Mawocha and founder of One Tribe Coffee. I'm a messenger, I'm a barista, I'm a coffee grader, and I'm a lecturer.
Oh, nice. Oshie.
I don't even know how I can compete with all that. I'm just a Negro with some headphones on talking trash on YouTube, but that's all I do.
Yeah, I should take this one.
We're in the same co-working space. Shout out to Motive. We work in the same co-working space, and I was able to meet you two when we moved in March, met your son, and y'all are my favorite business in the co-working space. You've just been so supportive. Y'all always smiling all the time, like you're so happy. I'll be coming in mad as hell. Let's just go over there. So, and we love you so much,
Thank you.
because of, we always like to buy the coffee that you guys have. And
One of the products right here.
Did you pay for that or get these for free?
No, I paid for it.
Because you're usually stingy. So, but you have a very interesting story because you're originally from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
So, and our podcast is called the Repart podcast. So you also transitioned from another place living here in Uganda. And we want to know a lot about that experience for you. Why did you, let's start with the mother. Why did you decide you want to come to Uganda?
So I came here because of my husband.
Okay.
He is a banker and he got a position. Initially it was in Rwanda, then he was transferred to Uganda. I remember I was so upset because I said, I'm so tired of moving. We've been moving for the past 20 years. She's obviously bore the brunt of all the move.
Okay.
So I wasn't excited about Uganda because, my kids are in school and I thought, what am I going to do now? So I got into coffee by coincidence because I wanted to open up a coffee shop in Zimbabwe. And so my thoughts were, whilst I'm here, why not learn? So became a barista, then coffee grader. And one of the things that really drove me into the coffee industry once I started learning was just so many things startled me. Like, first of all, just understanding Uganda's great coffee heritage. And I'm thinking, what? How can this be that Uganda is the world's 8th biggest coffee producer and I don't hear anything about it? I thought it was Kenya,
Okay.
Then just hearing that Uganda is actually, the place. And then also saying, but why don't people drink coffee? And then seeing the numbers being so low at 5%, mainly expats. And then the reasons why people don't drink coffee. For instance, culturally, women are not encouraged to drink coffee because it will dry up your fluids. So you're like, what?
That's true, huh?
Pseudoscience.
I think I've heard that before.
Is it a myth? I think it's a myth.
It's a myth, yeah. That's all pseudoscience.
But is it true, though?
It's not true.
No,
it's not true, but
It's a myth.
what I'm saying is it true that they teach that here?
Yeah, they
It's
do that.
just, one of those old wives' tales.
Yeah.
Same thing in Zimbabwe, or is it just...
No, I mean, it's not a thing in
It's a
Zimbabwe.
Ugandan thing.
Yeah, it's a Uganda thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the reasons, and then also a lot of people, and generally across the globe, I think most African countries being tea drinkers, there's always this association with illness or heart issues and coffee consumption. In fact, for me, the biggest surprise was finding out that because of the colonial history, when coffee was first introduced, when if the farmers didn't meet the quota, they would be penalized, and the chiboko was used. So when coffee is a dried cherry pod,
What is a chiboko?
a beating, a
A
stick,
cane.
a
It's
cane.
a stick of some
Yeah.
sort.
Who? So it was the British. They would hit you.
So
The
say for
colonialists?
instance, the chiefs or people in the area, if they didn't meet the quotas, then there'd be, severe repercussions for that. And at some point, some farmers even believe that the coffee is used for gunpowder. So don't even touch it. So for me, it was just so puzzling that what is going on? And again, that frustration that as Africans, we tend to let the wealth out of our hands. We don't tell our stories. And the more I understood coffee, the more I got so frustrated. I'm like, if Waraji can make it,
Why not coffee?
if Rolex can make it, when you're on the flight, you come into Uganda, what are people talking about? Oh, you must have Rolex.
Yeah.
You must have Waraji.
Yeah.
And I think, but wait a minute, coffee is bigger than that. Why am I coming into Uganda and not seeing you are entering coffee country? Why am I not experiencing coffee like, say, Vietnam or India? In COVID, coffee was trending. The Vietnamese coffee was trending. And yet we've got this. We're in the cradle of coffee. This is the birthplace of Robusta. And we're completely clueless, just walking around and thinking this thing's, is bad for us. And so that's why we have One Tribe Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was like almost a sense of urgency that we need to have coffee out there, share this knowledge. We have coffee experience classes, and then have a call to action and say, come on, Africans. Let's not let this wealth slip our fingers from our fingers. Let's tap into this. Let's see what we can do to make coffee palatable. We have farmers come through who've never had coffee before. And they say, listen, I grow this stuff.
Coffee farmers that have never had coffee.
Never had coffee.
Yeah. Because they just have the seeds and then they hand them over
Just
to
let
the
it
middleman.
let the wealth slip from your fingers, and they
Yeah.
say, okay, this is fun. Let's have Imani, let's have cappuccino. What can we make for the farmer? And they experience coffee for the first time. And for us, One Tribe is about coffee, culture, coffee, craft, culture, and community.
Okay.
Because we love people.
Yeah.
You
do.
we find
Do you
that-
like Jonita?
Stop.
Yeah,
She loves
she's,
me.
she's beautiful. I think some people I just enjoy looking and admiring. I think,
Oh,
wow,
thank
so
you so
beautiful.
Don't tell her that.
Just like beautiful and just like sitting there. And I said to you, Wani, we do a lot of listening, and it's I feel like God's placed us there, not just about the coffee, but sometimes people come there and they're really burdened. And
I definitely be burdened sometimes.
Yeah.
You know me, I be coming there for like an hour and I be talking a lot of, you know how I do.
Yeah, and you know what? Listen, I know this may sound a bit. Anyone, I'll give you a chance to talk now. But we actually
No, build it up.
Yeah, we actually. It's amazing just sitting there and listening to the stories and I thought, oh my goodness, we thought we'd be pushing coffee out, but the chance to just sit down and hear someone's burden, because coffee, again, the science is out there that it actually increases your dopamine and serotonin levels, give you those happy neurotransmitters. So when someone's sitting and they're telling you, oh, this has happened to me, I'm unwell, I have ulcers, or something's happened to me, we sit there and we just enjoy
Connecting.
Connecting. We feel like God's placed us there to connect. It's deeper than coffee.
Yeah.
So your mom mentioned that you're a product of the moving around.
Yes.
How many countries have you been to or been in?
I think it must be 6 or 7 at this point.
Can you name
Which
them?
countries have you lived in?
Sorry.
Yes, so there's Zimbabwe, South Africa, Swaziland, now Eswatini, Rwanda very briefly, and then most of my time was in Singapore for the past 8 years, and then now Uganda.
Now let's talk about the Singapore. 'Cause me and you've talked about this before. So you were in college in Singapore.
Yes.
How was that experience for you?
It was a mixed bag. I think it was my first time living outside of the continent. And so, it was a bit isolating at times because I could go for a month, 2 months, sometimes not seeing another Black person outside of the one Black girl who was in my year. So that was a bit of an adjustment. But Singapore in general is a very easy place to live. I think it's convenient, it's very clean, it's easy to get around anywhere. Like everything that you need is kind of at your fingertips there. And so I did enjoy my time. I had a good time in university. It was very different from the typical, like, you grow up watching American TV thinking that's what your university experience will be like. But Singapore was so different. And so I found myself doing very creative things on the weekend, going to the beach. It's like a tropical island that's also a metropolitan city.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
I like that description.
Let me also ask you this. I met your brother. He's educated in the States.
Yeah.
So I talked to him. I would love to have a podcast with him also.
Have the whole family on.
Yeah, no, because he's a very talented young man. And, we talked to him about Uganda, and it seems that he had, based on his intellect and things he can do, many other opportunities, probably didn't have to come back here. And I think that you're, as a creative and just a talented businesswoman, Singapore, can do your own thing, other opportunities.
Yeah.
What made you say, okay, let me, instead of like, come back and, live back in Uganda or move to Uganda versus maybe you had other opportunities open to you in Singapore?
Well, I had been in Singapore for 8 years and I was planning to just come home for maybe a month or two and then move to South Korea, actually.
Whoa!
Yeah, because I had lived there for some time. I speak like a decent amount to get by. So I'd been planning to continue my career there because in Singapore, in the last couple of years there, I was working full-time as a model. And so I had wanted to go into the modeling and acting industry in South Korea, and that was the plan. But it was during COVID. So migrating was already very difficult, such a nightmare.
Yeah.
And I really feel like when I came home, God just gently closed the doors and said, just rest, just heal. I got here thinking, it's going to be like, I'm going to be so bored and what am I going to do? Or there was also the other side of me that was like, it was during the era of side hustles.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me come here and set up all my side hustles, ding, 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 set up my 6-figure income, and then I can go to South Korea afterwards. Literally so delusional. And I got here and I was like, oh, wait, actually, no. Okay, let me just pause. And so, I decided to breathe. Even if I had wanted to go to South Korea, I literally couldn't because they had just, like, the regulations were changing week after week after week after week after week.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me just wait, ride out COVID, and then regroup afterwards. And everything that you just heard my mom say about coffee, she'd been sharing with me. And so I was getting more curious about it, more interested in it, but I was still kind of on the wavelength of like, no, I'm going to go and continue my online work. Like, I was working with a South Korean company at the time, like doing remote work. So I really didn't intend to stay. It didn't even feel like in the first year that I lived in Uganda because I was just at home. So I was working online. I barely left the house. And then I think, close to a year after I had arrived was when we were really getting serious about this conversation of opening up One Tribe Coffee.
Okay.
And I think for a long time, I had seen it more as like, oh, this is mom's goal. This is her dream. Let me be here to help her and facilitate it. But now that I've really been stepping into it more and seeing how much potential there is, seeing the joy, seeing the opportunities, I feel like this is no longer just mum's project. This is our project. This is our brainchild. Yeah.
Can I ask you, because I think we've had some small conversations about, as entrepreneurs that are not from here, challenges that you have faced in the private sector here for those people who might want to follow your journey. What have been some of your challenges with being in the country, finding talent, things like that?
Yeah, I think on my side, the biggest frustration, especially compared to Singapore, is that you can't just Google something.
Preach.
I kept on making a joke. Yeah. Like, I want to make an app called I Know a Guy, and it's just a database of like everything that you might need to learn. Yeah, because you can't just go online and be like, oh, where do I find this thing? How do I hire this person? Like, I don't even know what that would be a great app job portal is. Yeah. And so I think that was the biggest frustration, was having to realize like you really need to be plugged into community here, and that's how you'll get around.
You need to know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that was the biggest difference as compared to in Singapore. You know, even when I was working in the tech industry, like if we needed somebody to do even a very specific thing, it's like, oh, okay, we'll hire a bunch of guys in Vietnam, we'll hire a team in Lithuania, we'll do this, we'll do that. But coming here, it was like, I did not know where to start at all.
Yeah. What about you?
So I haven't lived overseas. Coming from Zimbabwe to Uganda, I always compare the two. It's crazy because Harare means he who does not sleep.
I didn't.
And Harare, I say Harare should be called Kampala and Kampala should be called Harare because Kampala does not sleep.
Yeah.
So I find it very fast paced. And I always make comparisons about how, so when you go to Zimbabwe, it's so sterile. Everyone follows the road rules. If you go out of line, we take a picture and you're like, bad. And, it's just.
They shame you for
The
it.
traffic is starting to build up now. But, in the past, it's so generally, you don't really have serious traffic issues like you do here. But it's not easy to get by. If you don't have, there's no borders, there's no Uber. It's hard to get stuff down.
No borders in Harare.
No,
Nothing.
no, it's that. I don't know if anyone would get on a border in Harare because people.
I think they say
don't
it's
roll
very
like
dangerous.
that. They don't roll like that.
We're out here risking our lives.
Might take it to the alley or something.
So for me, I actually think Uganda. It's like
Things are
fast paced.
moving.
Things move. You
Yeah,
move. And if you figure things out, if you really are focused, you know what your mission is, what it is you want to do, you will find stuff. There's always someone, hustling to do something. In fact, I read somewhere that I think Uganda is one of the fastest entrepreneurial spaces
He says
on
it
the
too.
continent.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think I enjoy that. I think I find it easier to operate here. The challenge obviously is, I don't know whether it's an African thing or come on guys, like follow through. And sometimes it's like people are not hungry for business. It's like, you're almost begging somebody
To make money.
Yeah, come on, like, let's do this. Like, answer me. Where's my thing? And then,
You're running after someone to
LC,
deliver.
So on the flip side, I mean, Zimbabweans, like you say, we smile a lot. But it's so difficult to get things done. People
In Zimbabwe and in Uganda.
No, Uganda, it's easy to get. You can find your supply chain. You can find someone's going to outdo it. You want to get a pole made and have it, crisscross and so on. It will be done.
Yeah.
But Zimbabwe on the flip side is more like, there's just so much red tape. It's not as easy. People don't think out of the box. If you're looking for someone who will be loyal and run your company professionally, because Robert Mugabe invested in education in us, but it's very narrow,
Very linear.
Yeah, yes. So it's like
Theoretical too.
the plan was for all of us is you go to school, you get your degree, and you want to work for Coca-Cola or one of these, organizations that are well established, and then you're going to be there for the rest of your life, or maybe, just continue up the corporate ladder, wear your suit and your tie behind a nice desk and have a neat, tidy job. Us becoming entrepreneurs is something out of our comfort zones. For me, it took me a while to say, okay, I'm really comfortable in this space. I'm like, I want to work within a certain parameter. Hey, I like going to work at 8 o'clock and checking out at 5 o'clock and I've done my job and, that sort of thing. And I don't have to worry about how fast the company is growing. Just give me my salary and I'm good. So that's the kind of psyche that, we've grown up with. And then now coming here, it's like everyone is starting a little business, a side hustle. So it stretches you. It makes you think out of the box. So for me, I really think, there's so much scope in Uganda. If you really, just get over the headaches of people not really following through, having to haggle over prices again. That's someone looking at you and think, oh, you've got the money, so I shall penalize you for that. Those are the new systems, but I think there's a lot of benefits that far outweigh those.
What are those benefits that outweigh?
I think the ability to really, take it to the next level.
Okay.
I think if you're willing to offer, customer service is a rare thing here. But I think if you're willing to just go the extra mile and keep your promise, deliver on your word, make your customers happy, go the extra mile. You will get that loyalty. You will get customer buy-in. You will be able to really, grow your business.
Yeah.
So I think there's so much potential here.
And you have a great staff. I have never
Amazing.
went to one tribe and somebody not smiling.
They're smiling. all
It's
the time.
white teeth everywhere.
Yeah.
It means
If they could hug you, they could.
yeah.
That's just so welcoming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I went with shout out to LAR Movement, he's here from Texas. So he went with me yesterday. And I think I bought some because whenever I come out, I buy smoothies for everybody.
Yeah.
And they're just so friendly. We make jokes.
Yeah.
I do I'm a terrible comedian, but they laugh at all of them. They make me feel like I'm Eddie Murphy. So, and I've noticed that your staff is different than that we have other businesses in there. And I like those people. I like them too. But they are nowhere near on the level of your staff. It's like night and day.
Yeah, we have some
Do you
amazing
train
stuff.
them?
Yeah, I mean, it also just comes naturally. It's just a great team of people. We talk. I think we have weekly check-ins. Constantly, we talking, and I often tell them, like, "Come on, guys. I feel like you're loving your customers too much at the expense of the business." They'll be like, "No, this person's broke, and so they,
Yeah.
and so on, and
That's taking
so and
things on
so's not
credit.
happy today."
Oh, things on credit?
I mean,
I'm going to start that too. Yeah.
come on, you guys, we need to pay ourselves.
Yeah.
So, they're also and so sad. And this one, please, So they just, I think we just have a great team
I think that's who
dynamic.
they are.
Yeah.
Mm.
They have a great team
that is
dynamic.
true.
They want to go the extra mile. I even have to say, come on, we don't need to put all that garnish in there. Come on, this is not the Sheraton. This is one tribe coffee.
Yeah.
Let's just,
And I always see you doing a lot of, and I'm not going to lie. I always say, I think that we are the best business in motive. But I will say, we might have, we definitely have competition because I always see you two training and developing, always sitting with them, and it's always from a position of love. I love how you develop your culture around the business. And a lot of people don't have that skill. So how do you get people to perform at the level? Because, I be bragging thinking that we the best.
Yeah.
But I see what y'all doing. I think I have to rethink that. I might have to give y'all we might be second best, depending on the month.
Well, I think for us, it's just like really seeing potential in people, encouraging, motivating. Everyone has bad days at times, but we constantly seeing how can we support each other, because I think charity begins at home. So always, saying, listen, this is not the end. We can't be baristas for the next 5 years. So it's with that element of growth. Like some of them are starting to study next year.
Yeah.
I see so much potential in Eric. I wish you could
Shout
go
out
to
to
Cape
Eric,
Town.
by the way.
Oh yeah, Eric is so amazing.
Maria
You
too.
could be, we see you going to chef school in Cape Town, and so and the plan is basically to have exchange programs. I really would like to see them come to Zimbabwe, go to South Africa, and even go overseas. Just
You
able to go
were
to the
training
US.
one guy that was in the national barista for the country. He won, right?
Yes, he won. He won. Amazing. I mean, he did Uganda so proud.
Yeah.
So we hosted him, and he was. And you guys
What's
were
his
all
name?
amazing, Michael.
I think I've bought his coffee. Is it a limited edition that you guys have?
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, you guys were amazing, there, and just because we asked him to be. Well, he asked if you could be there because he thought a lot of people going by. It will increase my confidence levels, and so he had a chance to just constantly, when there were a group of 4 or 5 people, he'd sit and do his presentation. So we want to be a hub where people feel safe. We want to be a hub where people can come and collaborate. Because again, the coffee industry again is very silo operated, like dog eat dog.
Yeah.
And we're like, come on, that's nonsense. It's ultimately the wealth spills all the way down to the farm level.
Yeah.
Can I talk about this real quick? Because I know you have the new training facility, but I noticed you said it's a dog eat dog.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of times I had Jerome, I don't know, he's one of the top model guys. He spoke at Creative Fridays. Do you know who he is?
I've heard of him. Yes.
Model guy.
So
He
good.
said in Uganda, one of the problems in the industry is that there's so much competition and there's not a lot of working together. And you've mentioned that you've seen the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, how is that how do we address that problem as Blacks, as Africans around the world, that we're so busy trying to be in competition instead of trying to basically support one another?
I think it's a mind shift. And I think this is obviously colonialism, the last kicks of a dying horse, where, you operated that way. It was almost like survival mode. You're constantly in survival mode, that's me, myself, and I. And whereas, operating in silos rather than, let's operate collectively.
Yeah.
So I think the moment, and I think we're getting better at it.
Yeah.
Because again, when you see that, actually, it's funny, as Africans, we have so many amazing proverbs. Like, if you
So
want to
many.
walk alone, also if you want to walk fast, walk alone. If you want to walk further, walk
Go
together.
Yeah.
All Ubuntu. And I'm like, nonsense, guys. We have all of these amazing proverbs and all these values that we taught, but we're not practicing that. And I think it comes from a position of fear of lack or fear of poverty. So therefore, I must protect myself and I must preserve myself. But I think the more we are closed-fisted, the more we compete each other, we actually seeing that we don't go as far as we thought we would.
Exactly. I think that, like, when you look at the mind shift, for example, within the coffee industry, a person in the coffee industry could look at it and say, well, only 5% of Ugandans drink coffee, so I'm competing for the attention of that 5%. But the mind shift is to say, that's 95% of the country that's still untapped potential. How do we work together to get a bigger reach so that, like, if one person drinks coffee, it doesn't matter whether it's from my business today and your business tomorrow. The fact is, we've made a new person drink coffee.
Right.
So it's like looking at it that way, because when you go overseas, all of these different people who would be competing, they're on the same board as each other. They form these boards, these funds, these groups, these collectives. And that's what we need here, is to recognize that if we have more people doing this thing, it's not competition. It's a chance to create a bigger platform, solidify this.
Wait a
and
minute.
raise up the
Let's
next
come back to that.
generation.
Let's come back to that. You said that these people overseas, competitors, are on the same board.
Yeah.
What's happening on this board?
So, for example, if you look at, like, my experience in Singapore, there were a lot of, like, arts funds, theater funds, things like that. So these different theater companies, for example, you would think that they would be competing with each other because there's such a small theater scene in Singapore. But instead what they did was, okay, let's band together. Let's share resources. One of us knows a person in Germany who has a fund for theater. Another person knows a person in the United States. Let's all apply to this one, and we apply to that one, and we help each other. More money comes into the theater in general. We get more attention, more exposure, and that raises up every different theater program. Versus, like, if you're just working on your own, there's only so much that you can do. But if you're saying, okay, we're in the coffee industry here in Uganda, if we pool our resources together, make a big noise about this thing, we could potentially get funding coming in from this thing, and that will be able to help a lot of people. We could raise the profile so more people want to travel here for tourism. We can just get, like, even if we get 100 more people drinking coffee, that's coffee every day. We're all going to benefit.
I see.
I like that.
Wonderful.
I think that's the way it needs
Jonah,
to
wish
be.
she was more like that instead of being so stingy all the time.
I'm not stingy, guys. Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. I'm more about working together with everyone. Ubuntu. I like to say.
Yeah.
I want to ask, since you guys have moved to Uganda, what were the cultural shocks that you experienced? Like in the beginning, or is it because we're all Africans, we're the same everywhere?
Actually, for me, I must say that when I
Yeah.
first got here, the thing that bugged me was how people are so serious. You're like,
They're not
people
smiling.
smile.
Yeah,
People
tell
don't
them.
smile.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can leave from you and
yeah.
start smiling more.
Yeah, because in even Rwanda, I remember when I went to Rwanda, like, holy, where's the smiles? And I remember, I'll not forget. I went to this. I was going to say the name of this company, but it's a mobile company. It's a mobile company. I
like
remember
a
walking
obligator.
into it. I just come here. I went to Acacia Mall and I'm asking something, and I'm like, hello. And, I got this stand. I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, talking. And I'm like, in my heart, I'm like, my goodness,
Gloomy.
she hates me. I really felt, I'm like, I'm an African. What did I do? Is it something about me? But I actually felt like, and I was having a day where the customer service was just not giving. And I'm feeling
One
like,
of those.
did I do something? And I thought, oh my goodness, they hate me. You start getting paranoid, like what's going on? So for me, that was a culture shock. Because like I say, in Zimbabwe, it's annoying. It's actually rude. People will greet you, good afternoon. They've seen you. Say, good morning. How did you sleep? In our culture, it's like, how did you sleep? I only slept well if you slept well.
Oh,
And the
that is so
afternoon, good
nice.
afternoon, or good evening, how was your day? My day was well, only if your day was well. So that's the kind of background we come from. Then moving here, and if people don't greet you, it's like there's something wrong. There's some beef between you.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a while to understand
Yeah.
that no, there's nothing personal.
Okay, you're taking it as
Yeah,
okay.
I took it personal.
Yeah.
And then I actually have a friend, she was saying, no, actually there's some culture, it's a cultural element that, being serious is not being offensive. I'm taking you seriously. So I'm not just going to be smiling like an idiot, like what we do something. I'm going to be like, I take my job seriously, take my space seriously.
Yeah,
so me
everything's
talking
so
to you
serious.
seriously, it's because I respect you. So therefore my face being serious is because you're important to me.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, we're busy smiling away and looking silly, and maybe them thinking we're not taking you. So that for me was the biggest, and took me a while. So now I'm just take it in my stride.
Yeah.
If you're not smiling, it's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
But I'll
They do
still,
the head check at least, the blood.
yeah. Sometimes I'll be cheeky and I'll be like, hey, is everything okay? You're not happy to be here today, that sort of thing. And of course,
Yeah.
just get a one-word answer or get ignored. Yeah.
Oh, I was not paying attention to how I act around people. Okay. What about you?
I think mine is much of the same. I think the only thing that I now find it amusing, but in the beginning I would really have to breathe, is when you tell them, in customer service, if you tell somebody that something is wrong and then you get the response, it's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not fine. And they're like, no, it's fine. I'm like, no. If I say, for example, I don't know, I asked for coffee with no milk and you gave me coffee with milk. And they're like, it's fine. And I'm like, no, it's not. And they're like, no, but it's nice. And I'm like, no, but that's not what I asked for. So it's this kind of thing of
they're going to tell you what you should be taking.
yeah, exactly. That there is this thing of the customer is always right doesn't really apply here.
Oh, no.
It's more like what is nice would be appreciated by you as well. So it's I understand that it comes from a good place, that it's like, no, it's fine. It's good. Try it. And I'm like,
They want you to accept the bare minimum. Yes.
And so I think that was something that was a little bit challenging in the beginning.
Yeah.
But now I find it so amusing that every time we're at home and if mom will ask me to do something different than I did it, I'm like, it's fine. So I quite like
fine.
it. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Because me as an employer in Kenganda Studios, I've had to overcome maybe some of those issues for sure. How do you deal with, a way a person is trained, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong all the time, because there's not equality in the business. I feel like there's equity. Some people are better than others, and they come in differently. But when you have somebody that has the sort of mindset that, you maybe feel like they haven't been exposed, but you've lived in Singapore, you've seen things maybe from a different perspective, and you're trying to get that individual to the level of the execution of the business that it needs to be. But they have that mentality, let's say, for example. How do you coach a person like that?
I think I've learned a lot from my mom in that she makes it very clear from the beginning that she expects the best of people in a very encouraging way. That it's never like, okay, you've done this, that's fine. It's, I expect more from you because I see your potential. And I think a lot of people don't get told that. They don't get told that there's any sort of expectation on them to do better, especially when you look at so many education systems across the world are like, come here, sit down, be quiet, repeat what I say back to me. Good, A+. And so there's no expectation to say what is your opinion? How can we improve this? In your opinion, what do you see is wrong here? And so giving people a chance to rise to the occasion, I think makes such a big difference, because when they know, okay, this person expects more of me because they see that I'm capable of that. It's self-motivating as well, compared to just like, you did this wrong, like, instead of being like, look at the situation. What's wrong here? Okay. How do you fix this? Okay. So next time, what are you going to do? I think that's a very encouraging way of correcting people. And it's something that I've seen throughout my lifetime with any person that she's worked with, even when it was like people in the household, people outside. She has that expectation and she'll ask, what do you want to do after this as well? So even for like, we grew up with somebody who worked in our household. Yeah. And she said, well, nobody's ever asked me what I wanted to do, but I'd like to, actually like make my own products. I'd like to do product creation. I'd like to do design. I really like that. And it's like, okay, how can we like help you shift towards that? So I think if you set that precedent from the beginning of like, I expect you to want more from yourself because I see that potential in you, that I think is the most motivating thing that I've seen, that I've learned from her.
That's a great answer.
That was so beautiful. You could be a motivational.
Joan, I expect more from you.
And shout out to your mom. This is so good. She's like a great mentor.
She really is.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
So I guess we're down to the second best business inside of
No, this is the best.
Yeah, we're number two.
Look at them. They're smiling. I'm gonna start smiling more.
I used to say I was number one, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Do I talk to you about those things? I think I just tell you guys, you do this or else. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Talk to us about our future outside. But yeah, that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And where did you learn that from? Is it like from Zimbabwe, or is something you picked up on along the way?
I think along the way, I just, like I said, I love people. And I didn't know I loved people because, it's kind of like maybe as you get older, you start thinking, this is meaningless. Like, why am I chasing this thing that is so meaningless? Why don't I rather, see potential in people? Because I loved the saying that if you see the good in others, you discover the best in you. So, kind of like, for instance, One Tribe Coffee Shop, Eric, Maria, and Liberty, whenever I talk to them, I say, I'm teaching you to run your own coffee shop. So when there's wastages, would you do that if that were your coffee shop? So they actually know. It's like they actually run that. I could go away. They run that place. They know. Yeah. They know that these are the standards, these are the expectations. And they always bring each other to account. Because for them, that's their coffee shop. And from there, they're going to move on from there and open up their own coffee shops. So when you share someone's dream and you keep reminding them that, hey, this is the path we've decided we're taking, then you find that you get that someone can see themselves and they just go beyond, I'm coming and I'm clocking in, doing a shift and I'm going home.
Let me just say this last question. You've given us great information. I know that it's not just Uganda or maybe Zimbabwe, but in the Black world, even in our community, African American community, we got a big problem with accountability. It's the Black curse. Excuses for everything. That's what's holding us back.
Yeah.
You talked about they're holding each other accountable in the business, which as entrepreneurs, it's like, oh, thank you, God. This is what you want, right?
Yeah.
How much of a struggle has making your people that work with you, partners, whoever else, because the people that work for you, it's easier to make them accountable. But then you have people that are vendors or partners in the value chain that may have a problem with accountability.
Yeah.
How do you attack that from not, let's say, somebody that works for you, but somebody that you're partnering with and their lack of accountability? How do you attack that?
I think it's always communicating what the expectations are. That first of all, we're not going to take shortcuts. We don't expect shortcuts. And if we want receipts, we want you to, they know that if you're going to bring anything to One Tribe, if the quality is not good, it's going to be sent back.
Oh.
It'll be sent back because, and I constantly, like once a week, I'm in there and I said, like, charity begins at home. So the staff know that the way things are stored in that fridge, they're like, no one is going to get sick eating food from here. So if I'm going to throw anything away, guys, it's coming off your salary. So things like that. So we know. So they will not accept anything that's not of a good standard because we keep on talking like, guys, H. pylori is real. Parasites are real. whatever issue it has, is real. So if we have a problem, I think you heard us talking about if there's rodents that are in the area, you will not find it at One Tribe because we will do our research. And we will watch videos, we will do whatever. Everyone's part of the solution. So we like to use words like, don't be an enemy of progress.
EOP.
You must be part of the solution.
Is that what you guys have abbreviation for it?
Yeah, EOP.
EOP,
Enemy of progress.
Yeah. So don't be an EOP and be part of the solution, not part of the problem. So that's what constantly looking to see. And so even our partners understand that. Noise levels. Don't be bringing your milk and just dumping it in front of the front desk and so on. We're still working at it, but I think more and more, the way more we communicate what our values are, what we're trying to achieve. It's like you rub off your values onto the people you're partnering with.
Okay. And I think giving them a chance to also understand the vision of our company is helpful. So that for them, it's not just providing a service, but they're contributing to something, a mission. And so even, I work more on the craft side of things. And when we decide to partner with someone, it's important that we sit down face to face with the person and actually talk to them, know their story, know their background. A lot of these people have become very close to us and have relied on us at times or shared a lot of their pain and grief. And so when you can get to that level, it really makes it easier to be like, hey, you let me down with this thing. I'm giving it back to you, and I hope that you can do a better time this time around. And they really do. People step up to it. And then also I think being okay with saying, okay, we tried this person. They didn't fit with what we're doing. We're not going to put all of our eggs in that basket. Let's try another person.
And I think an important element also is respect. When we sat together, One Tribe Coffee, it was on a shoestring budget. If I tell you that we had zero budget, so we had to be so creative. But in my mind, I said, I want to create a place where the carpenter can come and sit there and walk in with confidence and feel like they belong. The security at the gate, we often have them come, Rose, come and have coffee. And sometimes they'll come and sit with me. Let's sit and, there's I don't care where you're from, the borders. And sometimes come and sit and we have the border. We have coffee. Come and sit down.
Shout to William.
I have coffee with the border.
He eats coffee, drinks coffee too?
He does?
He drinks coffee?
No, but I see him go to One Tribe. I think he's your errand guy too. Is he?
Yes.
Sometimes.
So honestly, I will sit and have coffee with the border guy. And I'll say, have you ever had coffee before? And he'll say no. And like, okay, what do you give him the menu? What would you like? And then and it's on the house.
And they become customers eventually.
Yeah, they become, and they love that because I had my first coffee here. I will not forget.
And they refer people there. That's the beauty of it.
Yo, the Boda guys are huge.
So they'll come. And they'll come, some of them will. And
they have money too.
Surprisingly, you'll find someone even coming on a date. That just
on a date? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Come and bring my girl.
Well, Jolene, it's Valentine's Day coming.
So
for
that
you,
was the whole day, Hey, Valentine,
I'll sponsor the coffee if you get somebody.
But there's a lot of work meetings. I see what meetings happen there.
Yeah.
A lot happens.
And you guys do have nice crafts. You have nice jewelry there.
What you're wearing? Is
some of it.
Oh, okay.
Some of it. Yeah.
Is there a website they can buy stuff? Yeah.
Not yet.
It's been a bit tough to do that because for getting stuff out of the country is so expensive.
Oh yeah. Y'all gotta come here and buy everything. Don't worry, LAR, he'll buy something. He in the back. He got money.
So that's the only thing. But I think I learned that a lot from both of my parents is that the entire time growing up, I saw them treat people with dignity, no matter where that person came from. I've never looked at them and seen them say, oh, this person, sweeps up on the side of the road, therefore I can just be like, whatever. She has personal friendships with people who clean up after, around Motive. She has personal friendships with, whether you're a CEO or whether you're a new hire, she's going to treat you the same with dignity and respect. And I appreciate that because it's just this wonderful lack of pride that allows you to connect with people so deeply. And that's something that I learned from them and I try to embody. Because I think especially having been in this international environment and traveled the world and stuff, you can really start to think like, yeah, you know, I'm
met
coming
it.
here, I want to come and teach people things, whatever. But my parents have never allowed room
like
for that. And I've never been like that because of it. That like, even the few times when I've had the notion, oh, I'm going to come and like show people how to do something, which I think is a common thing with international people. Like, I'm going to bring this international thing in here and it's going to be a hit. She's like, just wait, listen, watch, talk to people, find out what they need and what they want, and then how you can help serve them. I think servant leadership is something that both of them have really taught me. And so, yeah.
You said serving in leadership.
Servant
Servant
leadership.
leadership.
Servant leadership.
Yeah.
What I've been telling y'all.
Wow. This is the aha episode.
What I've been
I
telling
want to
you.
give a shout out to your coffee shop. It's amazing. Honestly, once you go to One Tribe, it's like a breath of fresh air. The stuff is amazing. Shout out to your potato snacks that they introduced. And the whole office has been eating them. Because I went there today in the afternoon. I'm like, potato snacks? Like, no, they're done. I'm just like, what? People have been eating this.
And my favorite, the peanut butter smoothie.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you love
Yeah,
that.
the service is amazing. Even the convenience. Like every time I go there, I don't have cash on me, mobile money, the codes. Like I love that. I'm already shouting at people, at business people. I'm like, why don't you have a merchant code? Or why don't you have,
Oh my goodness.
you know, why don't you make it easy for people to give you money? Card payments, merchant code. You guys have it all. I'm just like, oh, read the code to me. Let me just pay.
And we try and keep
I
the
love
prices. You know, it's
Yeah.
we always agonize over like
Even the smoothies did go up a little bit.
yeah.
You know, I got broke. I'm not gonna lie.
The board thing. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
But just
Yes,
one last question, because so many people are going to be inspired by, you know, listening to, you moving within Africa to Uganda. For those people who are from the diaspora, you have a lot of Ugandans, African Americans like myself, Black British. They want to come back and they want to do something here. And if you have one thing that you can tell them that can help them on the way, what would you tell them? What would you tell somebody that's thinking about moving to any African country? First of all, should they choose Uganda? Do you think Uganda is a good place for them to come?
Oh, most definitely. And I think now it's easy to look at the negative. The biggest challenge is the traffic. I believe a lot is being done to sort that out. But I think, you know, this is definitely the place you want to be. The weather, the food is fantastic, amazing people. And you just have to be patient. My advice to people is, you know, if you cannot expect to move into a new environment and have the same level of service or the same thing. It's a new environment. Study it first. Be patient. You know, just give it a chance. Absorb, right? And once you absorb, and you let go of all the hang-ups you have about, oh no, but you know, in wherever it is, you know, this is how this thing is supposed to taste, or this is how they did this, and this is how I did whatever. You'll be in for disappointment. But if you can just be like, okay, I'm starting on a clean slate. I'm going to use this time to absorb, to learn. And then how can I be part of the solution?
Okay.
You know, be part of the solution. And, you know, my husband's always saying, the annoying sometimes, be the change you want to see.
Hello.
Yeah.
Be the change that you want to see. So there's a problem, you know. So what can you do
To fix it.
to fix it?
Yeah.
I stay complaining too. I come by y'all coffee place at least once a month. And I be there complain. Is it true?
Yeah.
I'm a complainer.
No.
Yeah, I've been there before.
Oh, they're all being
I've
so
been there.
nice.
We love it. You know
I've
what?
been there.
No,
I know we
I'm gonna come back too.
You know, we are
Let me tell you about what's going on in Uganda today, y'all.
But, you know, I think a great piece of advice that I would give that actually came from you was about coming here, that like, if you want to just go and work for someone else, you can go anywhere else in the world. But if you want to have ownership,
Yes.
Yeah.
if you really
that is
want to
strong.
build here, like here is the place to do it. And
I told
think,
your son the same thing.
yeah, that's
he
what
did.
he
He
said.
keeps
And I've
telling us,
stuck
yeah.
with that because it's like the difference between going and being like an office worker your whole life. Like, yes, it's great that you have everything covered, but you could end that job and what do you have left to show for it? But here, you're really digging in and saying, I'm going to have ownership. I'm going to build this thing from the ground up that's not there. There's so much more potential that like you would never get a chance to do in another country. And that was great advice. I think that's what helped me realize, wait, this is actually the place to be.
Yeah.
So
and
thank
I think,
you.
Yeah, I really think you. And listen, you're going to have you will have bad days.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with venting. So when you
Come to One Tribe event like me.
vent, yeah, you know, we love it. You know, and the thing is,
Especially because you're funny when you
vent.
vent.
Yeah,
I be,
you know,
I be
vent,
cursing
vent,
and everything. They don't curse, but they be sitting there like, They Christians. They're like,
But it's you're gonna vent, and it's good to vent, and we enjoy it when you come and vent. And you bring, it's like a breath of fresh air. You can hear you booming from around the corner. Oh, everyone's excited to Shay's here. But really, I think certainly you really have also been solid in terms of just keeping it real. You keep it real. You have bad days, you have good days. You say it as it is, but then you're still here, right? You're still here. Still being part of the solution, being the change you want to see.
For now.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys,
Yes.
this was such a lovely episode. If someone wants to reach out to you, where can they find you?
Our coffee shop, you can find us on Instagram, OneTribe_coffee. And I also do some social media.
Yeah, she actually went viral. That's how I got to know about her. She went viral on TikTok.
really?
Yeah,
Recently? Or before you met
a while
her?
back.
In
Was it like
another
last
life,
year?
I was a TikToker. Yeah, I used to be a TikToker.
You big time YouTuber, then you stopped, or you was growing and you was TikToker, then you stopped.
Yeah, she's been going through.
She's supposed to do a podcast,
transformation.
y'all. She's supposed to do a podcast.
It's coming.
Message her. Tell her to stop playing around.
And what about you? They can just come to One Tribe and find you there.
Yeah.
Yes, we had One Tribe Coffee,
Yeah.
the Motive Complex. We're also opening up a little coffee lab,
Ooh.
which will be great in terms if you want to learn more
Yeah.
about coffee.
Is it there, right? In Motive. It's the
Yes,
same one?
yes,
Yeah, I'm going to have the
Yeah.
guys go over there and
Learn
Yeah.
something.
We'll arrange.
No.
We'll arrange a date for when it works for you, and just have it's a great space to learn about coffee.
Yeah, I will say I love your coffee. Well, I have a friend of mine from the UK, Abby. When he was in the country, he said he wanted coffee. I got him your coffee, and they loved it.
Oh,
So he said every time he comes to Uganda, he'll be buying your coffee. So,
yeah.
Thank you so
so
much.
buy that coffee. They have a limited
you.
edition, and
spend all your money. Get broke.
and it's also affordable. There's that too. It was like what,
Yes.
50K for the
Yeah.
500 grams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've tried, like I said, we
It was really
we want to
affordable.
give good product offering, make it affordable, because it's a crime that coffee costs so much in
Yeah.
Uganda, and yet this is the cradle of coffee, the birthplace of Robusta. Yeah, so we want to just
Message to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. O'Shea.
Please don't message me.
Okay.
I don't want to see y'all.
Well, you can
No.
send us-
Put the camera on me. Don't message me for real. I don't got time. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah. You can send us an email at teamkenganda@gmail.com. Follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation, and you can get yourself a cup of coffee at One Tribe. See you next time.